What's up, YouTube? DFieldLucky here, and this is the video that I actually promised you guys. This is gonna be a deck profile on the new Dragon Ball Super card game. This is actually the deck that I was using when I went to the tournament. This is actually it's the Broly deck. So basically, it's based around this Broly card, which is the Broly leader card. So if you didn't know, leader cards are basically have two sides. So this is the side where you start off the game, and once your life drops to 4 or more, you can awaken your leader, and it gains different abilities. It normally retains it. Most of the time, the leaders retain the original abilities, and then they gain these ones. So like this Broly, for example, this is kind of why this will help explain some of the cards I have in this deck. So his permanent, when this card attacks. No, this card he can't attack battle cards. When this card attacks, both players choose one card from their hand and place it in the drop area. So essentially, every time he attacks, you lose a card from your hand. But there are cards in my deck here that prevent me from having to drop a card. And he awakens 4 or less, and when you awaken, you draw 2 cards. But then when he awakens, he retains, so he can't attack battle cards, but he also retains the ability to where you have to drop a card, but it also adds that both players lose a card off of their battle area. So you lose a card that's in the battle area. So that's interesting. But either way, let's jump into the deck and kind of go over what I have. So Broly is my leader card, obviously. Basically, that's never going to change. There's only a few leaders in the game, so I mean you can base it around whatever leader you want. I just did it Broly because I kind of had the most cards for him at the time when I opened my box. So let's start this off. This is a little bit closer now because it's stacked. So, well, actually, you know what? Let's just do it this way. I'll go card by card. So first, I have it in order of number, and then I have the rarest cards in the back. So I run 4 Krillins, and even though it's not focusing, there we go. Human Shield Krillin. So basically, he's a blocker, and he's only got 5,000 power, so he's not really going to kill anything, but you basically, what a blocker does, so you play them and you keep them active, so then you're safe, your opponent goes to attack your leader. You can activate his blocker ability, so then you basically turn him into breast mode, and you force your opponent to attack him instead of whatever their original target was. You can do it if you're targeting your leader, or say if there's a card you don't want to lose, you can do this. But every time you do this, if the card that is attacking is stronger, so most 9 times out of 10, Krillin's getting knocked out because he's only got 5,000 power. They're going to win the attack, and you're going to lose them off the field. But it's just a good way to protect yourself. So I always, I've seen in this game run blockers. Blockers are basically your lifeline. Otherwise, you're done. So then after that, I run 3 Slasher Trunks. Now, I do this for a couple reasons. So, I mean, he's one energy, so he's really easy to get out. So you just need 1 card, 1 energy to bring him out, and he's 10,000 power. So he's a little stronger than the Krillin. But as you'll see further down the deck, there's a Trunks card that I use to evolve with. That's actually pretty good, and that's why I run him in the deck. And it's just good to have things on your field as well. So that's not too bad. So 3 Slasher Trunks. Next, I think this is the last of the one. No, this is not the last of the ones. I got a lot of ones actually. So full power energy is a extra card. So extra cards, basically, they're not battle cards. You don't put them in battle area. You still have to use energy to activate them, but they do something. So this one is a counter attack. So negate the attack and then choose up to one of your opponent's battle card with an energy cost of 1 or less. So essentially, this is the same concept as Krillin. You tap, but except for this time you have to tap an energy. So you hold these in your hand. You don't put these on the field. So basically, if you have an energy active on your opponent's turn, you tap the energy, tap the energy, use it, and then you can activate this. So you negate any attack. So it doesn't matter the attack. I mean, there's other cards that can negate, counter, but basically, so this will prevent the attack. And so say if they had a Slasher Trunks on their field, you could then go ahead and automatically knock out this Trunks along with negating the attack, which is pretty cool. It's worth having. I actually do like these. And the other thing too is you'll see as you run through. I have learned that certain it's not this game is definitely different as certain other ones. It doesn't hurt to run a lot of copies of certain cards because no matter what, they can be used as energy. Well, I shouldn't say that. So I've been also playing with the idea of putting splashes of other color decks in my decks. I really haven't figured out exactly how I want to do it, so I haven't really touched it. So I've only adjusted this deck and added and dropped different green cards. So basically, basically, it doesn't really hurt because if you're running a full-on green deck, everything can be used in energy. So if it's a useless card, okay, cool, just drop it in the energy zone and you're solid. So either way, moving on. So next is Family Kamehameha, which is, it's a decent card. So you can activate that. You can only activate this during your turn. So basically, you choose one opponent battle card with an energy cost of 2 or less and KO that card. So basically, you can knock anything with a 1 or a 2 on the battlefield out. So anything you just and this only costs 1 energy to do. So you tap 1 energy and boom. Okay, so there's an annoying card. Or mainly what this is, I use this for is to get rid of blockers because there really aren't any blockers. Too many. I'm not sure, but I can't think of a blocker that costs 3. So most of them are 1 and 2. So you can get rid of the blockers, so you can then go ahead and follow through with an attack. So they will most likely not be able to prevent it. So that's what I run this card for. Next is Broly, the Dawn of the Rampage. I'm running 3 of these right now. So he's only 5,000, but he's 1 cost, but I run him for a couple reasons. One, so when you play this card, look up to 7 cards from your top of your deck, add 1 green Broly card among them to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So basically, it says basically how you determine this is not here. There's right here, it says character, and it says Broly. So as long as the card says Broly right there, you'll be able to take that card and add it to your hand. And now the other reason I run him is because he's an easy card to get out, and you can then evolve into other Broly cards for less of an energy cost. So there's a couple, you'll see as we get further down the line, the ones I run for him. So he's definitely worth having. I only run 3 of him. I very rarely run 4 copies of a card because you can run to a total of 4 of 1 card in a deck. So the only one I think I have so far is the Krillin blocker. Now, the next card is actually probably one of the most important cards if you're going to have Broly as your leader, and this is Broly's Ring. I have 3 of these, and basically this is a field card. This is actually the only field card in the game right now, and it works with Broly. So what this does is you basically stop yourself from having to drop a card from your leader Broly's ability. So if you can get this, you activate this for 1 energy, or there's another way to get him out, you'll see, get this out. But you basically activate this as a field card, go stage in your battle area. You can get rid of it. There's a couple ways to do it. Nobody actually managed to do it to me, but this is really, really useful. So basically, you don't have to drop any cards, but your opponent does. So it really benefits you because it makes your opponent lose their hand. And you know, in this game, having a big hand is actually really, really important. You want more cards in your hand because you can either combo to block attacks, or you can, have certain cards like a counter card and stuff like that. But if you will your opponent's hand down, basically there's no way that they can protect, and you can just basically wipe them off the board. So really, this is really, if you're going to run Broly's leader, you need this card in your deck. There's no doubt about that. I only had 1 game where I didn't get this until late game, and I definitely lost that game. So definitely, if you don't have this, it definitely hurts you a lot. So the next card I run is, we're getting into the 2s now. So Paragus, Controller of Monsters. So basically, I run him because what his does, so when you play this card, you may place 1 card from your hand. So you place 1 card from your hand to the drop area, and if you choose to, you can search your deck for the Broly's Ring and activate it automatically. So you drop 1 card from your hand, and then you can search your deck and automatically activate the Broly's Ring, which is perfect. So they synergize perfectly. So I run 3 of these. So basically, 6 cards in my deck help me get Broly out, and then after that, they're just basically energy for me at that point because I didn't use for that. So then the next card I run is, I run 3 copies of Son Gohan, Family of Justice. So basically, he's another blocker. He's just 10,000 and he costs 2. So he's just a little bit of a stronger blocker. If you can get him out early, there's certain things that you can block. I mean, obviously, this is good to have early game because it can block certain attacks and he won't get knocked out automatically. So if, say, somebody had like that 5,000 Broly, they're not going to be able to knock him out. Then you can just block, and then you can reactivate him your next turn, and he's not going to go away. So it's just another blocker. So in total, I have 7 blockers in the deck. I'm thinking about running another one of these, but I'm not sure. I still got to do some play testing. So yeah, and by any means, this deck is definitely not perfect. So if you guys have any advice or want to, say things I could try out, let me know down in the comments down below, because I'm learning this game. This game's relatively new, and I'm telling you, this deck is definitely not perfect, but it's, it gives you an example of certain things you can do if you're just getting into the game. So the next card, and then, so moving on, next card I run is Son Goku. So this is a 2 cost, 15,000. Now I run him for a couple reasons. So he has no abilities, nothing. So he is just an attacker. Basically, that's all he does. He's just there to attack. But 15,000 for 2 energy is a really good card. There's basically one of these for every color, and they're always fun. They're always good to run. So I run 3 of him, and the other reason I run for him because there's a Goku in my deck that I use him to evolve into, because it's actually one of the staple cards of this deck. You'll see those are the cards I'm going to go over kind of last with that. And then next I run, right now I currently have 2 of the Overflow and Bio Army, so 15,000 as well. But basically what this does, so when this card is placed in the drop area from the battle area, if your leader card is Broly, so obviously I run Broly, you may place 1 card from your hand to the drop area. If you do so, play this card. So essentially, the way this works, so say if he gets knocked out, you can, instead of putting him in the drop area, you take a card from your hand. So if there's a card you don't want, you can take a card from your hand, put it in the drop area, and then you can reactivate him you can re-put him in the battle area. So you can basically have him out infinitely. And it's not bad. There's certain circumstances where it works. So I only run 2 of them, because I don't really see a necessity to run 3. So the next card I run 2 of these Trunks Protector of the Children. So he is more of a clutch situation card. So this is more of a late game card. So basically, when you combo with this card, if your leader card is green, so obviously I run Broly as a green leader, and your life is 4 or less, draw 1 card and add plus 10,000 to this card's combo. So essentially, he is a 0 plus 10,000 combo. But only when you have 4 or less life, which it happens, it's going to happen almost every game. So basically, you get to draw a card from him, and so most anything that's plus 10,000 normally will cost 1 energy to combo with. So basically, this is a plus 10,000 with 0 cost. So it's good. Like I said, I only run 2 of them because it's not necessary to run more. But like I said, you can if you want, because at that point you can just use them as energy as well. So now the next card I run is 2 Son Gotens, which is funny. Basically this is another combo card. So during your turn, when you combo with this card, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 3 or less and KO it. So basically, this is a 1 cost combo, so you do have to tap energy to use this card, but you can get rid of anything that's a 3 or lower off the field with this card. So it's you plus 10,000, so you can basically attack the leader and get rid of an annoying card or a blocker or something like that. So you can get rid of a blocker and do attack. So it's simultaneous. It's just a way to get rid of mainly blockers. I'm sure there's a couple other cards that you might be able to get rid of too. So definitely not bad to run, but once again, only 2 just for that reason. So then moving on, we're going into the 3s. These are actually the only 3s I have in my deck. So basically, this is Energy Powered Gotenks. I actually never got a chance to use him, but he is actually a pretty good card. So when this card attacks a leader card, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and places it in the drop area. So every time, so he basically does the same thing Broly does without the negative effect on you. So if you attack a leader, they have to drop a card from their hand, which is really cool. So nice card to run. I only run 2 of them. I might actually consider going up to 3 because it's only a 3 cost, 15,000, and it has a good ability, so not too bad. So that's a really cool card. Now, the next card I have is this Implaceable Trunks, and this is the reason why I run the Slasher Trunks for 1 energy, because you can evolve into him easily. So evolve, so you can only, instead of 4, it costs 3 to evolve into him. And basically, he has Double Strike. So Double Strike, basically, if you attack the leader, they take 2 life instead of 1, which is really, really good. Because if you have cards that Double Strike and there's also Triple Strike, you basically wipe out your opponent's energy really, really quickly. Now, and then he also has Revenge. So if this card is attacked, KO the attacking card after the battle. So essentially, this can go one of 2 ways. You can either, he gets attacked and you take the hit and you let him go, but then the other card gets knocked out. Or say you could combo, keep this card on the field, but the other card gets knocked out, which is really, really cool. And then when this card evolves, choose one card from the drop area and add it to your hand. So that's another. So it does. This thing just has a lot of effects, and it's really cool. And that's also the reason you evolve. So basically, you can add a card that you lost back to your hand, which is really nice too. I only have 2 of these. That's another one I might consider upping. Like I said, I got to do some more play testing, but yeah, this is definitely a really good card to run, and that's the reason why I run those slasher trunks as well. Plus that they're low energy cost. So the next one as I run is another 4, 2 Furious Yellow Vegetas. I think I'm good at 2 of these ones. So basically he has double strike like the trunks, which is, you know, always a good thing to have, but he's 20,000 power. So 20,000 is pretty high. You'll see more. I think the highest battle card I've seen is 30. I might be wrong about that. There might be a Whis. I think there is a Whis that is higher, but he is so hard to get out. So then his ability, so activate the remain. Once per turn, place 1 card from your life to the drop area, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So this is it's a risk. It's you know, it's a choice. So say if you can get this card out and you have a lot of life and you got a life advantage on your opponent, and but you think, okay, there's a card that I just need to get up, or if you're in a sticky situation, you think you can spare the life, you could knock out any card. So basically any card in the battle area. So if there's like, you know, they have there's like a 12 cost. Say they managed to get a 12 cost Whis, which is a nightmarish card, which is very hard to get out. I haven't seen it done yet. You could basically just knock it out by dropping a card from your life. So it's a choice and it's there, but not a bad idea. Plus 20,000 beater, not a bad thing. So the next card I run is Rampaging Life Form Bio Broly. So he is a Broly card, so I can evolve that 1-star Broly into this card. So it only costs 4 to do that. So 2 green and 2 neutral. So that's why if I see things like that, that's why I'm thinking about doing Splash's other color. It's debatable because you see this cost, and that's the other thing too, is that I thought this meant the energy the card was worth originally, but no, only 1 card is worth 1 energy if you put in an energy zone. So you need 2 green energies plus whatever else to bring him out. So, you know, not too bad. But so this card has double strike. So, you know, we already went over that. And then his auto, when this card evolves, your opponent chooses 2 cards from their hand and places them in the drop area. So that really is kind of a theme with the Broly deck, is you basically make your opponent lose cards from their hand. And if you can combo so many times with this kind of thing, it devastates your opponent. Because basically you're taking away all their ability to do combos, you're taking away the ability to counter, you're taking the ability to do anything. Because if you're knocking all their cards out, it's just terrible. So this is a great card to run. It's 4 to evolve. Nice to have. So definitely worth having in the deck. I mean, I only run 2. Like I said, I might consider running more of these because this is not a bad card, and he's 20,000, so he's pretty strong. So the next one I run, this one I'm only going to run 2 of because he can't. This is another Broly card, but he can't. He's not an evolve, but I run him because he's 30,000 power, which is a lot. There's very few cards that are that high. And he has triple strike. So triple strike is just like double strike, but your opponent takes 3 life cards instead of 2, which is just ridiculous. So if you can manage to get him out, it's 6. So it's hard to get him out, but it is definitely worth running him. So now we are actually to the point where we're actually in my kind of rare cards, so kind of like the holo cards. So the next one I have, so he's a 4 cost. So this is Raging Attacker Vegeta. And I have 2 of them. And some of these I might want to run more, but I just don't have them because they're harder to find. So he has double strike, and so double strike, you know what that does? He has counterattack. So if you have 4 energy, you can actually use this as a counter. So you can basically make your opponent, I believe, stop. I don't know what does the auto say? When you play this card, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 4 or less and KO it. So that's actually pretty good too. So I'm assuming, I don't know exactly how that counter works. I'm assuming it prevents the attack. It says counter attack. So I'm assuming maybe you could attack or you make them attack this card. I'm not 100% sure. That's actually a rule I have to do. That's actually not a situation I ran into while I was playing. But I'm assuming it works like the other counters where you prevent the attack. Or it's either that or you make it attack this card. So you have 4 costs. Not a bad card to run. And he's 20,000. And you can KO a 4 cost or less, which is a lot of cards. Like 4s are strong cards. Like obviously you can see a 4 is really worth having. Now the next card I run, actually only have 1 of these, and that's why I only run 1 of these. And if it would focus, is Super Saiyan Gotenks. So this is an evolve card, so it costs 4 to evolve into him, so that's why I have the other Gotenks I have can't evolve into him. So he has double strike and he has an auto. When you play this card, choose 2 of your opponent's energy, up to 2 of your energy and switch them to active mode and then draw a card. So you get to draw a card and you get to active. So you could say you used your 4 to bring him out, then you could activate 2 more and then bring a 2 cost or 1 cost out, or have 2 for the next turn to counter or do whatever else with. So that's really cool. So, and he's 25,000, which is just a good card. Like I said, 25,000 is a strong. Like I said, I think 30,000 is one of the higher, was like probably one of the highest ones you're going to see. I believe there is a 40 or 35 maybe, I'm not sure. But this is actually a really, really good card to have. I actually would kind of want to run more of these. So now we're kind of into my staples. So these are the staples of the deck. So this is the one, this is the very reason I run that Goku. And this is Awaken and Rage Sun Goku. This card is amazing. So he is a cost of 6, but you can evolve with 5 energy. So you evolve that Sun Goku card with 5. He has double strike, but his permanent, if Krillin is in your drop area, this card gains triple strike. So those blocker Krillins that I run, which most likely will be in your drop area by the time you're ready to bring this card out, you get triple strike. So this is an automatic triple strike card, which is ridiculous. So it's a 5 cost triple strike card if you do it right. So when you, and then also, so when you play this card, choose any number of your opponent's battle cards, which total costs adds up to 6 or less, and KO them. So basically you can KO multiple cards. So you could KO a single 6 cost, you could KO a 6 and a 5 and a 1, a 4 and a 2, whatever, anything that adds up to, as long as it's 6 or less, so that you can knock out multiple cards, one really powerful card, multiple weaker cards. It's really good, worth it. He's one of the definitely better cards. You have to, he's, like I said, he's the staple. This is basically going to be a staple in any green deck, but the next card that I have is kind of like a staple for the Broly deck. And these are the same cards. This is just the more like the like there's an extra rare one, whatever you want to consider. But so Broly, the Rampaging Horror. So he evolves with 5 from a Broly. So another reason that one Broly definitely worth having. You can evolve right into him. He has double strike. And he said, when you play this card, choose up to 2 cards from your opponent's hand and place them in the drop area. So once again, one of those things where you get rid of the card. And he's 30,000 power. So there are not many cards that are stronger than him. And you can just, so basically you can just combo and tie. So basically your opponent's gonna have a real hard time stopping this card. Definitely a really cool card to run. Basically staple, I think it's a staple on a Broly deck. I mean, you can probably run him in any green deck, but yeah. So this I love this card. I just love this art as well. But yeah, so that was actually the last of the cards. That was my 50 card deck. You know, like I said, this deck is definitely not perfect. It definitely needs some work. Like I said, I'm thinking about running some other splashes of color. I'm really thinking about, there's certain cards that I've been looking at to try to run and whatnot. But I'm figuring it out. So, but let me know what you think down below. Let me know if, you know, you run something similar to this. What, you know, let me know something, maybe your deck list down below. I don't know. I'm curious to see what people are running. Maybe let me know what which cards from the game are basically, do you think are universally compatible with all decks? So there's a couple cards, and I think there's a Jocko card and there's one, who's the other one? There's like 2 cards that I'm looking at. I think that you could pretty much are going to be benefit to any deck that I want to kind of try to integrate into some of my decks. And I will be having more deck profiles on the channel. I'm working on building a yellow deck and improving the red deck that I already have built. The blue deck might be the only one that I'm not going to be able to do because I don't have a lot of cards, because I traded those away because I wasn't planning on building a blue deck. But either way, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. I know this is a little bit of a longer video, but it's a lot to go over. But either way, I'm going to get out of here. But before I do, remember, stay lucky.